All right. Well, looks like well, I haven't done a video in a while, and I was kind of looking for a good opportunity to do one. Don't quite feel like doing an Oscar update yet. I don't think we're. I mean, Critics' Choice, but I mean, nothing way too significant happened there that changed the race. So I think we're going to wait until after SAG, Screen Actors Guild Awards, before we get back to that. But that is not the reason you're watching this video. Hopefully. The reason you're watching this video is because of the title, and that is Suicide Squad. Dropped a trailer just, I think, an hour ago or so from the time of doing this recording. And so if you have not seen this trailer yet, let me say, I think even if you're not into the DC thing yet, and certainly I've had mixed reactions so far, like Man of Steel I didn't enjoy. Not a big fan of. Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, whatever the hell title that is. The first trailer, back, what was it, April last year when it leaked out, had me intrigued. Second trailer, I thought, okay, this has the potential to be really good. Third trailer, most recent one, expectations kind of dropped off a little bit. I'm still definitely going to see it. Still definitely going to give it a shot, and then just from the idea though, and I was obviously Batman, Superman have been, and Wonder Woman too in the film, and Aquaman and Cyborg, whoever the hell else, Lex Luthor, Lois Lane, and Perry White, and all those other classic characters. They've been around for decades, and in film for several decades now, and with multiple interpretations, animated series, all the everything. Now we get a film like Suicide Squad here. We have never seen Harley Quinn on the big screen like this. I mean, she's done animated stuff. Obviously, she's been in all those and stuff. But and then with like Deadshot, Enchantress, all these other characters that I'm, personally, I didn't know who Enchantress was or who Deadshot was, before, I read up on the film a little bit here and there. And just when they announced like David Ayer, who had just done Fury, I think when they announced it, which I thought Fury was a fabulous film from what is it, a couple of years ago now, or was that last year? I can't remember. I think it was a couple of years ago now. Time flies. But that's a great checkout is that one, Fury. See that one if you haven't. Um, I'm trying to think here. How do I want to start this with this new trailer? Because the first trailer came out, and I was really intrigued. And yeah, I think David Ayer is a very competent writer and director, and I said, I've kind of been saying, here and there where I said I'm more confident that Suicide Squad will be a better movie than Batman v Superman, and this second trailer really, really told me that I was right. Yeah, I mean this thing, just based on this trailer and the last one and everything I've seen from it so far, tells me this could be one hell of a film. But at the same time, there's like maybe one apprehension I'm gonna have, oh well, we'll see. Maybe it'll be something small, or maybe it's something we'll get over. And yeah. All right. So first of all, the trailer is played over entirely by Bohemian Rhapsody, of course, by Queen. One of the greatest songs ever. That's all I'm going to say about it, and that's all I should have to say about it. Is it's Bohemian Rhapsody? What else? There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. And while at first I was like, wow, we had that first trailer which was really grimy and gritty and despairing, and yet now the second trailer starts off with something like that. I'm like, oh, we got something different here. Okay. So I kind of took a couple seconds to get into it, and then once I saw where they were going with it, when they started showing some of the more comedic stuff to it than we thought we were going to get. Because, and I keep going back to this, I don't know why, but DC, evidently there was like a press release or something, or someone somewhere told somebody else somewhere that there had been like orders passed through the DC line and the higher ups, and at Warner Brothers too, where they said, we're not going to have any jokes in this whatsoever. Not going to be a jokey kind of film. Yet, Batman v Superman, the Lex Luthor scene in the trailer is all I'm going to say. Watch that again. Tell me that's not jokey, kind of humorish. No, 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 no. And this trailer, oh man, I was chuckling and kind of laughing most of the way through the trailer. I thought it was awesome. Yeah. Okay, let's start with yeah. So we get our introductions like Deadshot, Harley Quinn, whoever the I think it's the Jai Courtney character, whoever that guy is. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not up to date on comics. I don't read comics, and I had never heard of the Suicide Squad really until they announced the title of the film was Suicide Squad. And I was like, what is that? Never heard of that. And then, yeah, so I kind of read up a tiny bit about it. I don't know everything about it. And I think they did a very solid job explaining that in that first trailer we got, where they say basically it's just going to be these criminals. They gather them together, convince them to do, jobs. And, and if they die or they do something wrong, then the good guys have no accountability. It was on them, and that's an intriguing idea, to bandy about, and I think it could make for a very interesting film. So yeah, we get our introductions to Will Smith and to Margot Robbie, and they do look like they're into their characters. I mean, I don't think that's Will Smith. That's that's Deadshot on the screen. I mean, he looks like he's into his character the same way he was with Amalu. I think it's Dr. Amalu was the guy's name in Concussion. A very, very nice performance from Will Smith, I should say. I don't think I've said that yet. I saw the film a few weeks ago. Really, I mean, the film was the first half I thought was good. Second half, but Will Smith was strong throughout. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, we get our introduction to Deadshot. We get our introduction to Harley Quinn, all that. And I had a complaint here right away because Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie's scene where there's a scene where she's talking about the voices in her head telling her to do stuff. There was like 20 seconds. And maybe I'm exaggerating, but it felt like a whole minute there, and I felt like, okay, you could have cut that down, or yeah, that was. So I was like, oh boy, please tell me this is not where we're going, because yeah, it's that comedic tone again that at the first couple seconds of the trailer we're starting to set up when Queen's on the soundtrack. You kind of it's going for a more light-hearted fare, and more pulpy, if you get what I mean. Anyway, maybe okay. Moving on. So yeah, and then I was kind of a little apprehended at first, and then we got to the Joker, and Jared Leto's Joker, and he has like maybe like 6 or 7 shots in the trailers, all something like that, maybe more, but not a whole lot of footage here of the Joker, and we don't need to see a whole bunch of footage of the Joker. We know he's in the movie. He had a really great, little thing in the first trailer. He gets a couple of nice things to do here in this trailer. And I feel like you don't need to overemphasize the Joker being in the movie, And I'll tell you what, my favorite shot of the trailer is, and I don't know if everybody else will agree with me on this or not. There's some really, really badass stuff in the trailer. And I'm not going to be opposed to somebody picking you can pick a half a dozen shots, or maybe like 3 dozen shots for all that matter, because some of them are just so quick. And you can just pick one out and say, that's my favorite shot of the trailer. And I'll be like, okay, yeah, and, it's going to be hard to argue against, because the trailer was really well cut, and it looks like a very well-made film. And there's a shot, though, of Joker bent over laughing, and he has a machine gun in his hand. And for some reason, just the way his eyes were closed, he was laughing hard at whatever he's doing, maniacally scheming or maniacally killing people or whatever. And just that, just the second that shot was over, I said to myself, and I think I said it out loud too, I said, that's the Joker. That's the Joker in action, man. Just hysterically laughing and with the machine gun in his hand, which means, which is kind of what you always want from the Joker whenever he's on screen, which is he's a crazy guy and he's unbelievable, but he's having a blast. And not just that, he's dangerous. He's got a freaking gun in his hand. He's ready to mow you down, which I always really like that about the Joker character, no matter whether it's Jack or whether it's Heath Ledger. Doesn't matter. It's the Joker, and he's maniacal, and he's crazy, and he's awesome, and we love him for it. And yeah, okay, let's move on. He gets a couple of shots where he gets a cool car that pink. I think it was like hot pink or whatever. Maybe not hot pink, but that purple pink looking car, really cool. A couple cool shots like that. Okay, and then we get an interesting shot later on with the Enchantress character, who's the name of the actress. I'm forgetting. It's like whoever she is. And there's a shot with her. Evidently, she's with the president at one point. She says, "Let's do something fun, something along those lines." That makes me okay. So evidently, at one point, she breaks off and is asking the president, or she's torturing the president or kidnapping him or something. I don't know, akin to Iron Man 3, I kind of guess, a little bit more or less. We see Joker with like his knife collection. He's just laying down on his back, and he's got like a row of knives, and then another row of knives behind it. That's awesome. Again, and he's again maniacally laughing. Then we get and then I'm just some of my favorites here because there's a whole bunch of action shots in the film which look really great. Machine guns firing off, explosions, people going through subways and stuff. And it looks crazy. And then there's a guy who's taking a Pepsi break or whatever. Starts drinking starts drinking a pop or a beer, or whatever it was. That was kind of because it builds up to leading up to the kind of heavier section of Bohemian there toward the end. And yeah, that was really nice. Nice moment to inject there a little bit of a break. So I called it the Pepsi break shot. I thought that was awesome. I don't know if it was drinking Pepsi or not, but that didn't matter. Anyways, but the thing that it kind of makes me give me a little bit of pause here, and this isn't necessarily a negative thing on the trailer. I don't think. I think it's more of a possible problem we'll see with the film. Is their tagline here, which we see toward the very end of the trailer. It says "Worst heroes ever," and I guess that's their tagline here. They might have more and they might have less as time. They might have that being their only one, or we might get more as time goes on. We don't know yet, but I don't know. Here's the thing about Suicide Squad for me is just from what I have had told to me about people who have actually read the comics or who know more about this than I do. Is the thing with them is they are kind of more or less forced to do whatever they're doing, and in the film, I don't know what it is. Evidently, yeah, going out to take out some bad guys that I guess Superman and Batman are too busy fighting, so they can't help or whatever. I don't know where the timeline on this is going to fit in either. I don't know if this is before Batman, Superman, before Superman even arrives. Is Batman still because he's supposed to be coming out of retirement, I guess, in Batman v Superman. So is he retired at this point and he just doesn't want to mess with anybody or what? I don't know. But anyways, the thing with Suicide Squad that I get the feeling of, and from the comics, and again, if you're more into this than I am, you can tell me. Don't be afraid to tell me. Don't be afraid to be irate in the comments section and let me know that I'm totally wrong on this. Because I am just a film fan who likes who know I shouldn't say likes, I do like the Marvel films especially recently, but and the thing is I try to latch on to the big kind of subgenre movements we're having lately. Like this is one of them. This is the superhero, which is almost formed into its own genre now with multiple studios doing shared universe ideas and stuff. And so I try to keep in tune with this because really this is what the movie-going culture, this is what they're really in tune with these days is what's the next Marvel movie? What's the next DC movie? So I try to keep up on this. But the thing is with Suicide Squad, from what I understand, to finally arrive at the point, they're forced to do this. They don't really want to do this. They know if they don't do it, they're probably just going to sit in a cell and rot anyways. This is a way for them to be free. I don't know if that automatically makes them heroes, though, and I don't know if the film is necessarily coming out and telling us that they're anti-heroes, automatically because they're villains, treacherous pasts, they were criminals and all that, and now they're being forced to do something. I don't know if that makes them anti-heroes, and and we've seen stuff before like this. What was the Disney one, Sleeping Beauty, the Maleficent or whatever? I saw that. That was terrible. But I remember like the ads and the way that they were, the way the picture was looking. It was just going to be on this is the bad guy, and this is the bad guy's story. And this movie, she's not an anti-hero. She's not, Maleficent's character was not an anti-hero. She's, this is a true villain's movie, where where if the villain dies at the end, that's the way it's supposed to go down, but, and the villain does not turn sides halfway through and become a good guy by the end. That's what Maleficent actually ended up being, though, was, by the end it was like, no, she's not the true villain. This guy is the Sharpio, or what's that guy's name? Copley. I forget the actor's name. Whoever the king guy was, or whatever in that movie, bullshit. He was the bad guy. He was the real bad guy. He clipped my wings off, or whatever the freaking story was. Sorry, I hated that film. Not good at all. Aside from maybe like art direction and stuff, I mean, it was a good looking movie. Some of the effects look good, but that's not enough to save it, I don't think. I think worst heroes ever. I don't know. I kind of want to see a super. If they want to do a Suicide Squad movie, just have them be bad guys. Just doing bad guys being forced to do things against other bad guys. I don't think that makes them anti-heroes automatically. I don't think. And I'm not the Webster dictionary here spouting what an actual anti-hero is. That's just the way I see it. Is an anti-hero is somebody who has, who is actually a good guy, but they just do things like, that maybe they shouldn't be doing. Like for me, Deadpool, I think, is a great example of an anti-hero. And I'm sure people agree with that. I'm sure people disagree with that. But yeah, I just, anyways, and I'm excited to see that one, Deadpool. That comes out in what, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Yeah. So we'll be seeing that one pretty soon. Yeah, I'm just really worried that this is what's going to happen again with this. It's that Maleficent syndrome where it's like, and I hope they really, if they're pushing them to be anti-heroes, spell it out, in the trailer. And they're kind of doing that more or less with Will Smith saying, "Let's go save the world." It was in the first trailer, now it's in this trailer again, and now the tagline, "Worst heroes ever." It's just I feel like there's an opportunity there that nobody, at least in recent memory, has really, really struck on that idea yet. And I think that's a golden opportunity there, and I really wish DC would take it, but I don't know if they will. And again, maybe that's just the way they're advertising it, and it's actually they're just. And here's the thing: if it's going to be that way, if it's the way I'm proposing here, which is they're villains, they're bad guys, we don't want to, sure we'll see them fight guys, but we don't really end up rooting for them, they're when they're doing their things, they're not doing them heroically. If they're, if there's a bad guy they need to take out, they don't beat him to a pulp and then arrest him. No, they shoot him in the head. That's the kind of movie I want to see. I mean, it doesn't have to be R-rated, of course. Just that was just an example. But I kind of want to see a movie, from the villain's perspective, where it's like that. Where you don't root for them. You can follow them through the movie. You can show them doing things. But you don't have to go out of your way to make them heroes. I mean, just from the way these guys look here, I wouldn't call Killer Croc an anti-hero. I wouldn't call Harley Quinn an anti-hero, and I don't think we need to. But yeah, if that's the way they go, that's the way they go. Maybe they can make it work. Just slamming the door on the whole. They're actually villains the whole time, and we don't end up rooting for them. We just see them doing stuff. That's maybe that's the way to go. Maybe that's not the way to go. Anyways, so I have one last thing. The last scene of the trailer is Harley breaking into with her baseball bat, breaking into a department store window there, and stealing like a purse or whatever it was, and it kind of made me a little think back, on that idea, which was. The guy says, "What are you, crazy or whatever?" And she says, "We're bad guys. It's what we do." So that kind of told me, okay, so maybe this, and then with the Enchantress scene and stuff with evidently the president, made me think, okay, so maybe this is the way it's going to go, plot wise. And of course, I don't know any of this. It's just my guess at this point. Okay, so the film starts. We have all these criminals together. Something's happening. And the Viola Davis character, who we only see maybe once in the trailer, maybe 2 times, but very quickly, She says we need to assemble a task force. We need to get things together if things go bad or because things are going bad. Whichever. And then she says, and then they gather them all together. They all agree to do it. That's your first act. Second act is okay. They go out to do it. Maybe it works. Maybe it doesn't. Whatever happens, but somehow like Enchantress or maybe a couple others get away, and they're out doing their own thing, and they start doing bad guy stuff or something, So by the end, it's and then and the Joker's out there too or something, and that's how you introduce the Joker into the movie, and yeah, so then you have to figure out okay, so we have to figure out the Joker if the bad guys or whatever villainous force that they went out to destroy is still out there. We have to stop them, stop the Joker, and if they are split up and people are doing their own things, we have to control them too, or whatever it is. And maybe that's the idea for the story. Maybe I'm completely off, but that's at least a little tiny sense of an idea of what I was getting just on this. And then yeah, so that line I thought was like, "We're bad guys. It's what we do." At least for a moment, brought me back to that idea of yeah, these people are not heroes. We in the end, we're not going to end up rooting for them. Uh, you know, we're gonna maybe we might like them to catch the Joker because the Joker is the ultimate bad guy in this, or maybe we want to see them succeed so they don't die. So to that degree, I don't think that automatically is the definition of rooting for them. We just want to see them, live to fight another day. I don't, and I don't think hopefully the movie is not wanting us to say, and now Harley Quinn and Deadshot will join this Justice League. I hope not. That's not where I want this to go. If this, yeah, like worst heroes ever, I don't know. It's a big question, and yeah, not to say that they went out of their way and said this is gonna be the one, guys. This is the one where we're gonna do it, and this one's for the bad guys. This is the one where we tell it all from the bad guy's side, and that's all we do. They're not anti-heroes. They're just villains doing their stuff, Maybe, and I can't remember if that was a statement of theirs or if that was just, if that was just the sense we were getting. But, however this ends up, the trailer looks fantastic. It was edited very, very well. They picked a great soundtrack to go with it. Leto looks just delicious as the Joker, and I mean that as he's into this role, man. He is the Joker, and like I said, the bent over laughing scene while holding a machine gun, just for me, just the way he was dressed too, with that pink bow tie and the suit, I was just like, that's the Joker, man. That's the Joker I've been that I've been waiting for him to do since he was cast, and I'm excited to see him. Very excited to see Harley Quinn for the first time on the big screen. Will Smith looks like he's engaged. The rest of the cast looks good. They all look like they're filling their characters out very well. I can't name all the characters, and I don't know all their names, but I don't think that's important here. And I was glad too that the trailer they had a part where one of the guys was saying, so this guy does this guy does that, this guy has fire out of his hands or whatever the one guy was doing. This guy's Killer Croc. He eats people. Deadshot. He's top assassin and all that. So I was like, that's a good idea, especially because this kind of reminds me of how they did the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer. Where they introduce all the 5 main characters and they say this is why they're wanted. The famous scene of Peter Quill doing that for the first time was awesome, and yeah, so that and it kind of did remind me a little bit. Now after I watched it about 3 times probably all the way through, and then I would just rewatch certain parts of it over and over again. But it kind of reminded me a little bit of that first Guardians of the Galaxy trailer, where it's like there's that pulp feeling and that action feeling, and then that comedic feeling, and that energy. And this trailer, if it had anything, whether you're pro or against it, Marvel or DC or both, I'm both. Sure. I mean, I've been on record. I said the original Superman '78, better than all the Marvel movies, better than everything else, in my opinion, at least. And I'm probably one of the few people left on that boat, but I will stay on that ship until it sinks. I will. Seriously, if that's the Titanic, I'm Leo DiCaprio or that other guy who was on the top as it went down. Now that we're making other references to films, but anyways, and whether you like the trailer or don't like it, don't like DC or love it, you can't disagree. This trailer had that it had that excitement to it, and it had exhilarating editing, and it had energy to it. That's the key word, energy. It had energy. I mean, they didn't just throw this thing together. They were thinking, let's make this something good, and I think they did make a beautiful trailer. Yeah, so like I say, yeah, so the Batman v Superman last trailer didn't wow me as much as I had mixed feelings about it. Some parts of it worked, other parts not so much. Here, most of it works. There's maybe a couple of things that have me a little worried, but they might work themselves out. But something like Doomsday looking like he fell out of Superman's ass and missed the toilet. That's I don't know if that's something you can work out. I mean, that can work itself out. You get what I mean. But that looked terrible. And yeah, maybe the Eisenberg's performance was a little over the top, and you can't change that once it's done. Uh, I hope it's good. I hope it's good because here's the thing. I've had this discussion with other people too. And here's the key question I always ask them is, okay, so we have Marvel over here. They're doing fantastic, going into this phase 3 now with Civil War coming up in May and stuff, and the Doctor Strange and all the other projects they've got down the line. They're going to be fine. What about DC? And I remember I asked this of one guy, and he said, oh yeah, I hated Man of Steel, and I didn't hate it, but I couldn't give it a good review. I'll leave it at that. And I asked him, okay, so if Man of Steel sequel comes out, which was Batman v Superman, we didn't know what it was at the time. I asked him, I said, so what happens after that? And he says, oh man, if they bump, Batman v Superman, and or he said the next film, Man of Steel 2, and it's he was, and we were guessing, and there was good evidence that it was going to be a Batman v Superman. I can't remember when this conversation was, but it was a while ago. And he said, "Oh man, if they screw that up, they're dead in the water." And boy, yeah, I have to say now, yeah, especially if this is your first time introducing Wonder Woman to the big screen, your first time that Batman and Superman are going to be together in the same space, in the same shot on the big screen. Plus, whoever else is in the film, Doomsday and Aquaman and whatever else you're throwing in there. And if you F this up, man, that's a devastating blow. That's a really devastating blow, I think. But they brought on Chris Terrio, just won the Oscar a couple years ago for Argo. Ben Affleck, I'm sure, can just say, "Hey Zach, I don't like how you're doing that." Zach, I don't like how you're doing that. And he can change that. Hopefully, I hope he wasn't just a lapdog, because that's not what Ben Affleck is. I mean, not what he should be. So, yeah, I'll go into it and I'll be optimistic, but there's some evidence in those trailers, or at least the last one, to show me things could go south very quickly here. And but this trailer, to get back to the point of why we're here, Suicide Squad, I give it a thumbs up. I thought it was good. We can't see that. There we go. I enjoyed it. A lot of fun. I think it's really. I mean, how much more can we ask for from a trailer like this? I mean, for me, I would have waited on this till the Batman v Superman comes out, because then it's only 5 months away, more or less 4.5, whatever it is. So it's a sooner wait. Because man, now my anticipation for the movie is kind of way up here now, higher than like I said, it continues to be for me more anticipated than Batman v Superman, for me at least. Just because I have a little more confidence in the writer and director, and that's a good cast too that you've assembled. I mean, not to say that Batman v Superman's cast sucks, but this is, and it's an intriguing idea. It's something, we've seen Batman and we've seen Superman on screen before, even though they're separate. But we have never seen Harley Quinn or Deadshot, or name off the rest of the cast there, except for really Joker and potentially Batman. I guess he shows up too. Save those guys. The rest of these people are brand new. So yeah. So I'm excited. That's my final word. Was that the trailer had a lot of energy. And that's about all you can ask for with something like this is a good trailer. They gave us a good one. All right, so other videos I'll be doing. SAG is coming up. I think it's this weekend, Saturday or Sunday. I can't remember. One of the two. After it's over, we'll look at the Oscar races, at least for the top categories there. And and that's about all I've got to say about that. And we've got Deadpool coming out. I'm sure I'll review that. We've also got the what was that Coen Brothers movie, Hail Caesar. I'm going to see that opening day, and I'm just going to be jumping up and down, excited about it because they had a new trailer of that too a few days ago, and it was, even though it was just a quick little bit, there wasn't really way too much to comment on, but it was really funny. That's all I'll say is just see that if you haven't, because that was a fantastic trailer. Even though it was only literally like 5 lines, and one of the lines of the 5 is repeated probably 50 times. Awesome trailer. Even though it was over and done with like that, but still very great. And I always have faith in the Coen brothers. They've really done a magnificent job throughout their careers in doing good films. Even though I wasn't so high on others, just like True Grit and stuff. And I haven't even seen the what was their other one? Davis, Inside Llewyn Davis. I mean, they're talented writers and stuff, so they're good guys, and I'm really looking forward to that. It's a great ensemble cast too. Everybody from Josh Brolin to George Clooney to Channing Tatum to Scarlett Johansson to Jonah Hill to Ray Fiennes to who else is in the movie? Great people, great cast. I wouldn't be surprised if even Bill Murray showed up in a quick cameo. That would be fantastic. But yeah, like I say, yeah, Deadpool, Batman v Superman coming out. Good, yeah. Well, hopefully, we'll get some good movies here going into the pre-summer season, and then two. One thing I wanted to do here is I did not post from last year my top 10 films of 2014. And then I've seen just about everything. I'm gonna see. I haven't seen The Danish Girl yet or Anomalisa. I'll be probably seeing those in the next week or two. And then I think anything else that I want to. I'm trying to think. What else do I need to see before I can safely put down my picks for my top 10 list? And I'm trying to think what else I haven't seen yet, but okay, those two at least. If anything else pops up, yeah, I'll be sure to see it, and then I'll do that. Then I haven't really shared how I feel about like the Best Picture nominees for 2015. Are they good? Are they bad? And I also wanted to quickly mention too the whole boycotting the Oscars thing, but that's the conversation for another day. For now, final words on Suicide Squad trailer number 2, the first big official one that's not a Comic-Con trailer. Exciting and full of energy. Good trailer, guys.